I can talk about that. So there's going to be a lot of needs for whenever PulseChain does come out. There's going to be needs for some services to exist. I think someone's actually working on like nodes, so like an Infura like thing. That's one thing I want to do as well. We need the ability for people to deploy and run subgraphs. Not a lot of people know what subgraphs are, but pretty much every app on the blockchain planet needs probably uses a subgraph or something similar that does some kind of caching of events. You have you need, I don't know, there's just a lot of bits and pieces. Like Ethereum may be decentralized, but there's so much that goes into it that is centralized and actually a service that somebody pays for, and they make using it not an absolute pain. Like it's amazing any of this works at all, but a lot of that is held on the back of just companies that provide services. So we're going to need those services. So that's one thing I want to do. I primarily want to do it for myself because I have projects that are going to be on PulseChain, and I want those technological resources to be able to make all of my applications run quickly and people can actually use them, especially with like auctions, right? Because like that's time sensitive. I can't have there be a 1,000 millisecond delay when you click bid, when you're trying to time the last second. Like the delays need to be minimal. So
is that basically like what's next for, and maybe you want to go into that too if there's more, but like is that what's next for the Hedron ecosystem?
That's the next big thing. I don't know if it does anything specifically for Hedron or ICOSA other than it's going to make them ensure that they're usable on PulseChain to the maximum degree. But we need it as like a ecosystem as a whole, right? It's like every single person who's building anything on PulseChain are going to need some of these things to exist.
Gotcha. Is that so? It's just for this ecosystem, like you said. There's no new projects coming up. Are there new apps? I guess there could be new apps because I know on the website there's apps. There's Hedron. There's Hedron. By the way, I'm gonna get this correct. Hedron, right?
Yeah.
Hedron.
Sorry, I don't correct people very much when they say Hedron because it depends where you live. Like
Yeah, I just want to make sure because I went back and forth. Me and David Feeder too, and we said it different ways. I think we had this conversation. But anyways, Hedron. Everyone, Hedron. Hedron. Yes.
Yep.
There's different apps. There's a Hedron app. There's a ICOSA app. There's Hex app. Mm-hmm. Are there more apps coming?
I'd like to do one for like the whole Maxi team thing when that comes out, because I think it'd be cool to have all those in there as well. There's a lot of like diagnostic things I'm doing. So like right now, what I'm spending most of my time working on is I'm writing the subgraphs for ICOSA so that we can have a lot of the statistics stuff that we want to see, like where are all the stakes, how long are their minimums, how much, that kind of stuff. We want to be able to see all that stuff. I want to be able to display that for Hex, Hedron, and ICOSA at least in there. So there'll be like it's like there's apps now, but then there will also be like analytics sections that you won't need to have a wallet to view, and you can just go in there and search for what you want. Probably have like some dashboardy things with some global metrics that people can keep track of.
That'd be great.
Because what's happening here, it's one thing that we have Hex and we have all the tools for Hex, right? But HSIs somewhat break those tools, right? Sometimes we want to know, well, how many of these are HSIs? And every HSI is its own address. So it appears to some tools like an individual staker, but it's not. They're all combined. So some people have supported, like stakehex.today supports HSI stakes, but some tools don't. And we have some tools out there that are semi-abandoned, where someone wrote it and it was really cool at the time, and it still works, but it's not being actively developed anymore. So,
right.
I'm looking at this from a things like, well, I'm building on Hex, the Maxi team's building on Hex. Who knows who else builds on Hex in the future? It would be best if we can have kind of a good all-rounded place for the majority of this data over time. So so I'm writing the stuff for that, and I'd like to bring Maxi and team and base into it so we can analyze a bunch of that stuff and just be able to have like an app that answers all the questions. Because right now, if I want to answer a lot of questions between Hex, Hedron, and Icosa. I need like 4 browser tabs open just to be able to do anything. And if I can't promise the app will solve that entirely, but it can solve a good chunk of it.
Definitely. DeFi apps.pro. Or you think it'll always be like icosa.pro, or I'm sure maybe you'll consolidate at some point once you get all the ducks in a row on that.
Yeah, so it'll be at icosa.pro. The hedron.pro app page will point there as well. Maybe I come up with some generic name too. That's what
I was going to ask too. What is the liquidation auctions? Are they moving to
yes.
the app section? Yeah, okay, I figured.
Yeah, they'll go in the Hedron side.
Gotcha. Oh, this is the start. This is the launch. It's already so much cool stuff and it always works so well, but there's so much more that can happen, like you just said. Amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of work and you can do in that just to make every like the dream is like you have a question about something Hex related on the blockchain and you can just answer it through some application without you having to go dig through Etherscan transactions for 10 hours. So we're not quite at that level yet, but it would be cool if we could do that for the majority of things.